Thank you for joining us today for an important announcement regarding funding to strengthen Canada's supply chains. I'm speaking to you today from the traditional territory of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh Nations, the Coast Salish First Peoples on whose land we are grateful to live, work, and play. My name is Talib Nur Muhammad, and I am the Member of Parliament for Vancouver Granville, and it is my pleasure to be your host for today's event. This is an important day, and we're going to be doing talking about some very, very important investments that the Government of Canada is making. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you my friend, the Minister of Transport, the Honourable Omar Alghabrah, to this podium to share some very good news. Minister.
Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Thank you very much, Talib. It's great to be with you here. Thank you for being here. And I'm also delighted to be here with my colleague and friend, Parn Bey. Thank you for being here, Parn. Robin, good to see you. It's good to be back here at the port. And I want to thank all of the team members from DP World, Port of Vancouver, for being here, for hosting us. I was just saying that last time I was here, this entire place here was still under construction. So it's fantastic to be able to come back and see the work in action and the activities that are taking place. You know, we've seen how supply chain disruptions caused by global and domestic factors can have serious impact on cost and availability of products Canadians need. That is why Canada's economic growth depends on strong supply chains to create jobs, ensure goods get to Canadians, and addressing the impact of the rising cost of living. Notre croissance dépend d'une chaîne d'approvisionnement solide. Breakdowns and inefficiencies in our supply chain pose difficult challenges for Canadians and Canadian businesses. For these reasons, I launched the Supply Chain Task Force to advise our government on how to improve our supply chain now and to ensure we strengthen it for the future. I was pleased to welcome their report last Thursday. And one of their recommendations was to digitize and create end-to-end supply chain visibility in our network. So today, I'm proud to announce that our government will be launching a $136 million national initiative aimed at supporting the industry-driven digitalization of supply chains to ease further pressure. That means, for instance, improving real-time data collection by using satellites and smart devices. It means developing predictive analytics and using machine learning and AI tools. It also means collaborating with the academic community to enhance research in transportation logistics and ensure we have the capability to support a digital transformation. In Vancouver, the situation is already critical. This is because of the large and complex operations of the port across many terminals, the constrained nature of the land and sea infrastructure, the proximity to population and impact on sensitive ecosystems. So it is particularly important that we move quickly to get this transformation done right. We will be working to bring industry, labor, and Pacific Gateway supply chain partners together to find ways to accelerate digital improvement. Today, I'm also announcing that Transport Canada will soon launch a new call for proposals under the National Trade Corridors Fund to support projects that strengthen Canada's digital infrastructure. More details will be available soon. Finally, I want to reinforce our government's commitment to action. Digitizing our national supply chain is a priority. By driving better performance within our supply chains through the integration of digital infrastructure, we can reduce the inefficiencies that contribute to inflation and help reduce impacts on the environment and communities. Better days are on the horizon, and we will get there together. Thank you very much. Merci.
Thank you very much, Minister. This is certainly some important and fantastic news that's going to have an impact not just here in Vancouver, but certainly across the country. And for Vancouverites and for British Columbians, the Port of Vancouver represents so much of what happens here and so much of what the economy means. And so it's my pleasure now to invite to the podium Robin Sylvester, President and CEO of the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority, to say a few words. Robin.
Thank you very much, Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am Robin Sylvester, the President and CEO of the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I would also like to acknowledge we are gathered on the traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh people. I want to start by thanking Minister Alghabrah and his government for their continued support in Canada's supply chain resiliency, as clearly demonstrated in today's announcement. And in support of the federal government's work in this area, and I want to just highlight a few things that we're leading at Canada's largest port, which I'm optimistic can be accelerated by the announcement we've just heard. We're working to optimize port operations and to build data-informed supply chains in response to the continuous pressure we see to improve supply chain performance. On the land side, one example of that work is our West Coast Supply Chain Visibility Project. We're collaborating with railways, terminal operators, marine carriers and shippers to collect and analyze data to better understand how cargo moves to and from the port. The visibility from that data allows us to identify performance, to understand overall supply chain performance and identify problems within the supply chain, and to advance solutions to improve operations and efficiency, to increase capacity, and also to target investment where it will deliver the greatest trade-enabling benefit. As a complement to this work, on the marine side, also working closely with Transport Canada, we're leading the Active Vessel Traffic Management Program in cooperation with the Canadian Coast Guard and the Pacific Pilotage Authority. As trade and vessel traffic through the port grows, this program will give us tools to handle that additional traffic safely and efficiently in port waters, to help everyone better manage the use of anchorages, which you know is an important issue for many ports and community stakeholders. It's a critical piece of work that we're advancing. And I'd like to finally mention one additional piece of the optimization puzzle, which is very topical to where I'm standing now, and that's capacity. I'm standing, as Minister mentioned, just in front of the Centerm Expansion Project, which is a great example of where we are working with a key partner, DP World, to increase capacity, both to prepare for growth, but also to provide for resilience in the supply chain. We've been collaborating with our partners at DP World on this project since 2015. It's a terrific project. It's expanding the terminal footprint by just 15%, but it's increasing capacity in the terminal by 60%, 60. It will allow port operations to better cope with surges through the supply chain as we feel the pressures of global supply chain challenges, and it also creates that critical space for growth in Canada's trade. Kudos to DP World and the project team for all their hard work on the project. Just as the Minister said, it's great to see it progress and having big parts of it in operation behind us as we speak here today. We expect to see the project completed towards the latter part of this year and early next year. And I'd just like to add as well, because I think it's very notable, the project recently won a Platinum and Vision Award from the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure, and it has an industry-leading safety record with now well over 1.5 million hours of construction work without lost time incident. Together, the optimization approaches that I'm talking about, which will be accelerated by the Minister's announcement, are the kind of work we're advancing across the port with Canada's help to improve operations, to create capacity, carefully and strategically in a land-constrained region, to support Canada's short-term and long-term trade objectives through this gateway. I'll wrap up here just by saying thank you again, Mr. Alghabrah, and your government for your investment and your focus on supply chain optimization and resiliency with real-time data as we work together to enable Canada's trade through this gateway into the long term. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Robin. I'll now turn the floor over to Nadine Ramadan, who is the Press Secretary for Minister Alghabrah, and she will moderate any questions that the media may have. Nadine, over to you.
Thank you. We'll now begin with the question and answer portion of this event. It will be one question and one follow-up per reporter, and you can use this time to ask a question. Nous allons maintenant commencer avec la période de questions et réponses aux questions et suivi passionnés. First question, please. Okay, hearing none, that now concludes the Q&A portion of this event. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you. On behalf of the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority and DP World, I'd like to thank all of our speakers today for supporting our community. Thank you to those who have worked behind the scenes in making today's event happen, and a big thank you to all of you for attending and for your participation. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. We'll just find a spot over there. Yeah.
You can keep rolling, or we're going to start to go shoot some people. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll take